Good morning, Jen. Good morning, everyone. We're starting off warm again this morning with temperatures in the upper 50s and lower 60s. It's 59 degrees right now in Branson and in Springfield, 60 in Monette, 54 up in Fort Leonard Wood, and 60 down in Harrison. Through the rest of today, we'll have a mix of sun and clouds. We'll have temperatures warming up into the 70s by lunchtime. Again, today we'll be in the 80s this afternoon. Just a few clouds, maybe a spotty shower or two, especially south and east of the interstate. Tomorrow will be very similar to today. Some showers south and east of the interstate, a couple of clouds, and temperatures in the lower 80s. Sunday will be warmer with temperatures in the middle 80s and a little bit more in the way of sunshine. And we keep the sunshine for much of next week. What's going to happen is a cold front will come in on Monday. Remember, I mentioned that yesterday. I don't expect any rain, though, with that front. It's going to drop our temperatures back into the 70s. We try to warm back up as we head into Wednesday, back up into the 80s, but then a secondary cold front will come in with a reinforcing cold shot with temperatures in the lower 70s. A few clouds. Again, I expect that to also be a dry front, a little bit more fall-like as we head into next week after what will be a very warm weekend on tap.
All right, thank you very much, Beth. The month of October highlights the importance of pedestrian safety. Nigel McDonald is in studio this morning. She's going to discuss some local efforts that are going on to help make things safer. Nigel, good morning.
Yeah, Joe, well, good morning. The city of Springfield now has 4 flashing beacon crosswalks, including one at the intersection of Grant and Calhoun, where I met traffic specialist Mandy Booten-Quinn. The beacons are activated when a pedestrian pushes the button or automatically activated at some locations. Booten-Quinn says the flashing lights let drivers know a person is trying to cross the street, giving them time to yield to that person. The beacons were built at high traffic roadways throughout the city. Booten-Quinn says national data shows pedestrian fatalities are increasing like no other traffic fatality. Just this week, a pedestrian was killed by a driver in Nixa. That's the video you're looking at right now, which is one reason the group is working hard to make the roadways safer for everyone.
When you see those, start paying attention. If you see an RFB blinking or somebody in the crosswalk, it is your responsibility to yield to them and let them go first. And so it's really important that drivers are not distracted while driving. Most pedestrian fatality deaths go back to either drivers being distracted or even pedestrians.
Well, Booten-Quinn says the team hopes to have more legislation approved soon, including an effort to make drivers required to yield to pedestrians who are standing on the sidewalk. Now, as it stands, drivers aren't required to yield until a person has taken a step onto the street, which she says isn't safe for pedestrians.
All right, Nija, thank you. And live entertainment has taken a hit this year in Springfield due to restrictions for capacity, but some venues are bouncing back. For most of 2020, it's been hard to turn a profit due to limited audiences, but one venue that has found a way to adapt recently has been the Springfield Little Theater. They've been doing smaller scale shows since July and have been trying to ramp up the size and productions every time they debut a new one. Lorianne Dunn, the education director, says it has been a way to balance their expenses.
What we've done in order to be able to stay active and to stay present in the community and just keep working is we've chosen shows strategically that we can do in this environment. Doing those smaller shows with casts of 2 people, 4 people, 8 people definitely keeps all of that in check.
It will debut Clue, the musical, on the 23rd, and that will run through November 8th.
The CDC issued an eviction moratorium last month in order to prevent spreading the coronavirus if renters were put out without a home or place to quarantine. One landlord in Kansas City says some are financially hurting right now, but her and other property owners could be put in that same spot if they don't get monthly rent payments. She said she works with each renter and provides a list of resources people can capitalize on if they find themselves in financial trouble.
There are people that do it the right way, and there's people that choose not to do it the right way, and those are usually ones that take advantage of moratoriums like this.
Also in Kansas City, protesters held a tent city Occupy movement demanding the termination of KC Police Chief Rick Smith, among other things. Demonstrators said they want overall police reform and a reduction of the police budget by 50%. The 2021 budget passed by City Council allocated $272 million to KCPD. Inside City Council chambers, there was no mention of the tent city occupiers or their demands. The council does have authority to remove occupiers, and its inaction is a show of support, allowing protesters to remain as long as things were peaceful.
Last night, those living in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, gathered to remember Detective Kevin Collins, who was killed in the line of duty just 4 days ago. It was put on by the mayor's office and open to everyone. Collins was considered a devoted employee of the Pine Bluff Police Department. Attendees remembered his legacy by walking in unity around City Hall and ended the night by praying for Collins' family.
While meat supply has leveled out, it still has meat processors in the state of Arkansas backed up. The CARES Act committee is now steering some funds towards that industry to help them out. The committee recommended an additional $5.4 million in grants on top of a $5 million request to go towards meat processors in Arkansas. The supply is there, the demand is there, but with so many processors at full capacity, they say it's hard to keep up. State Senator Missy Irvin says this short-term investment will have a long-term payoff as the farm-to-table movement has been accelerated because of the pandemic. Those in the industry say allowing them to modernize and expand their operation to be USDA certified will help those small to medium-sized farmers.
It's going to help stabilize the food system in Arkansas and in surrounding states, and it gives the consumers a choice.
So it prepares our state, in a great way to move forward and make sure that we're at full capacity and meeting that need of our Arkansas producers. So I think it's a win-win-win for everybody involved.
The estimates are that the second round of grants will add 70 full-time and 35 part-time positions.
6 men face federal charges and 7 more face state charges in plots to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The plot also targeted other lawmakers and police officers. Agents uncovered surveillance missions on the governor's vacation home, efforts to build bombs, and plans to storm the state's Capitol building. The suspects were upset over the pandemic mandates and lockdowns. The plot was uncovered through social media and phone calls. Governor Whitmer thanked law enforcement and said justice will be served.
AMC says it expects 520 of its 600 U.S. theaters to be open by the middle of this month. It is reopening 14 locations in Washington state October 16th and will reopen remaining theaters when authorized to do so by state and local officials. Its competitor, Regal Cinemas, has temporarily closed all of its locations in the country for the second time, and there is no timeline for reopening.
All right, let's take a look at what's coming up for you on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, federal authorities stop an alleged plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan and then violently overthrow the state government. Wow. We'll have the latest on the case and how law enforcement uncovered it in the first place. Also, see the future of high-speed rail travel. First on CBS This Morning, we're going to take you behind the scenes with Amtrak as it tests America's fastest train. Look at it whizzing by. And British pop star, that's Ellie Goulding, is back with her first album in 5 years. We'll ask her why, and when we say we, I mean Anthony Mason. We'll ask her why she stepped out of the spotlight for a while. She tells all to Anthony. It gets people to open up. We'll see you at 7 o'clock on the dot.
All right, let's check in on what's trending this morning. In Maine, it is the first day that people 21 and over can buy recreational marijuana today. And this has been a long time coming. 4 years ago is when voters approved recreational marijuana there. So finally today, stores are opening, and they're expecting this to make about $250 million in sales tax by 2025. There is a 10% sales tax on recreational marijuana in Maine.
I'm surprised. I know there's a lot of legislation and things. We've seen that happen in Missouri with medical marijuana, but just to have it be 4 years from voting to then moving on to this to now is pretty crazy. We also have one more trend for you. The World Food Program today won the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize for its effort to fight hunger and food insecurity around the world. That was started by the United Nations. So the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize goes to them. Very nice.
Yeah, and we have more details on ozarksfirst.com. We have an article about that too if you want to read up some more and get some info. Now let's get some info on our weather for the weekend, Beth.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, it's been warm, and I know you haven't really felt that because you're a fall girl.
I am. But you know what? It's not 20 degrees.
Yeah.
So I'll take what I can get. We'll be in the 80s today and tomorrow. Very copy and paste day today and tomorrow. A few clouds, shower south and east, and then we'll be cooler, more fall-like as we head into next week. So enjoy the 80s this weekend.
All right, thank you, Beth. Thanks for joining us here on Daybreak. We'll see you for more local news at midday.